You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to episode 11 of the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I am super excited about today's episode because we're tackling something that I know is going to help you so much, and that's streamlining tasks in your business. So let me ask if this sounds like a typical day for you. You're juggling emails, customer inquiries, updating your website, trying to get a handle on your marketing efforts. That sounds like my morning. And your to-do list feels like a runaway train. Overwhelming, right? Well, the good news is that there are ways to calm the chaos. I bet that a lot of your tasks are repetitive. Most of us do similar things day after day. And those routine tasks can often be streamlined. Streamlining isn't just about trimming your to-do list, though. It's really about reclaiming your time, improving your efficiency, and enhancing not only your customer experience, but also your own work experience. So what exactly do we mean by streamlining tasks? It's about simplifying, automating or delegating those repetitive and often manual tasks in order to optimize your processes and make your business run like a well-oiled machine. For those of us who are solopreneurs, this is crucial. I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, working smarter, not harder. It's a cliche for a reason. We have to make sure that every minute we spend on our business is as productive as possible. We don't have time to waste. That means eliminating the busy work so that we can focus on growing our businesses, engaging with our customers, and still have some work-life balance. So in today's episode, we're going to uncover the secrets to transforming your current workflow into streamlined processes that not only boost your operational efficiency, but also leave your customers feeling more satisfied than ever. And who doesn't want that? So grab your notebook or digital device, or if you're on the go, just let these ideas simmer in your brain, and let's get to it. Oh, and before we move on, let me mention that you'll find the links to everything I talk about in the show notes at tanyakendrick.com/11. So remember that runaway train of a to-do list that I mentioned earlier? Let's talk about slowing it down and maybe even turning it into one of those scenic train rides instead. First things first, we've got to figure out where our time is actually going. I mean, have you ever sat down at your desk, the sun is shining, you've got coffee in your hand, and you're ready to get stuff done? And then all of a sudden it's 6 p.m. and you're not even sure what you accomplished. It happens to the best of us. So here's what I want you to do. For a week, just 1 week, I challenge you to play detective in your own business. Track what tasks you're spending time on, and I mean everything. Those emails you're sending, the social media posts you're crafting, the customer inquiries you're responding to, and yeah, even the time you spend trying to figure out that new feature on your email marketing platform. And as you do this, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions. 1, is this task directly contributing to my business's growth or my customer satisfaction? And 2, could this task be simplified, automated, or even, dare I say it, eliminated? See, the thing is, so many of us fall into the trap of busy work. I'm guilty of this too. It feels productive, but it's not really moving the needle on the business. And that's where streamlining comes into play. It's about identifying those repetitive routine tasks that, let's be honest, we could probably do in our sleep by now, and finding smarter ways to tackle them. If you do this for a week, then by the end of the week, you'll have a clearer picture of where your valuable time is going. And that's when the fun begins. We start taking these tasks one by one, and we streamline. We simplify, we automate, we delegate. We make our business processes so efficient that we not only work smarter, but we also create space for more creativity, more growth, and yes, more time for ourselves. So are you ready for the challenge? I promise it will be eye-opening and totally worth it. Now that we've done the time audit, did I mention that what we just talked about is called a time audit? It is. Anyway, now let's move on to some other strategies to help you turn that runaway train into a well-organized plan. So let's start with one of my favorite topics in the realm of streamlining, and that's automation tools. They're the secret sauce to help you reclaim some of your precious time. So picture this. You've got a gazillion things on your plate, from scheduling social media posts to managing invoices, responding to emails. The list goes on and on. It's like you're a circus performer juggling more and more balls, and you're just seconds away from dropping all of them. Sounds familiar, right? Here's where automation tools come into play. They take those repetitive, time-consuming tasks off your hands. We're talking about tools that can schedule your social media posts in advance, software that sends out invoices like clockwork, and even systems that can manage those initial email responses for you. Automation tools are like having a virtual assistant who's always on the ball and never needs a coffee break. Let me mention just a few of my favorite automation tools. First is Tailwind. I use it to schedule Pinterest and Instagram, but you can also use it to schedule Facebook posts. Plus, it has quite a few other features beyond scheduling. Next is ConvertKit, which is a tool I use for email marketing. I have just a ton of email automations that run in the background all the time. Another must-have for me is ThriveCart, which is my cart software. I don't send individual invoices. Instead, people make purchases through my cart. If you do need to send invoices, then I recommend, I have two things I recommend, a couple of things. FreshBooks is great if you need invoicing and bookkeeping software, or if you need a customer relationship management tool, then Dubsado or Honeybook are both good options. They'll let you send invoices and also manage other client details. Another of my key business processes is list building, and I use ConvertBox to automate that process. It automatically captures leads on my website and adds them to ConvertKit so that I can email people. If I had to do all of those things manually, there's no way I could even do it. I can't quantify the hours saved because I couldn't even do all of that. And, for the most part, you don't have to be super tech savvy to use these tools. They're user-friendly, they have dashboards and interfaces that make them easy to work with. Plus, it's easy to integrate them into your current processes, and that makes the transition to automation smooth and hassle-free. But here's the thing. Automation should enhance the personal touch in your business. By automating the routine tasks, you free up time, and that will let you personally engage with your customers, dive deep into creating content that resonates, and genuinely connect with your audience. So I encourage you to explore the world of automation tools. Start small with just one aspect of your business. Don't try to automate everything at once because that will just be too confusing. But do one thing at a time and watch how it transforms not just your workload, but your entire approach to how you run your business. And before I forget, I also want to mention a resource I have that will help you navigate all of these streamlining challenges. It's my Biz Boost workbook, and it includes step-by-step guidance, practical worksheets, and templates to help you streamline operations and increase your productivity. I'll drop a link to it in the show notes. Okay, moving on from digital helpers, let's talk about human ones. Yes, I'm talking about the power of outsourcing. It's a way that you can have more hands on deck without the overhead of a full-time team. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Tanya, I'm just a solopreneur. I can handle it all. Well, let me drop a truth bomb on you. Just because you can handle it all doesn't mean you should. It took me a while to come to terms with that because I tend to be on the control freak side, but it really is worth it to give up some of that control. Imagine this. Instead of spending hours on tasks like scheduling, inbox management, or even content creation, if that's not your jam, you could have a virtual assistant take the reins on those. It isn't just about freeing up your calendar, it's about freeing up your mind and about investing time in areas where you truly shine and areas that can drive the business forward. When you hire someone to handle things like email campaigns or customer inquiries, it gives you the bandwidth to focus on strategy, on developing new products, improving customer service, and adding that personal touch where it really matters. And outsourcing can be more cost-effective than you might think. With freelancers or VAs, you're not looking at the overhead associated with full-time employees. You're paying for the tasks or the time, which means that you can scale up or down as needed. It's super flexible, which I love. Plus, you have access to the global talent pool. You can find subject matter experts in pretty much any field, and they'll bring fresh perspectives and skills to your business, which is a real plus. So how do you start? Again, begin with a single task that's eating up your time or one that's outside of your zone of genius. Platforms like Upwork or Fiverr are great places to find talented individuals, but keep in mind that clear communication is key. The more specific you are about what you need, the better results you'll get. So there you have it, friends. Outsourcing isn't just for the big players. Solopreneurs can take advantage of it as well. Now let's talk about another strategy that's going to streamline your operations even further. It's one of my favorites, batching work. This is all about grouping similar tasks together and tackling them in dedicated chunks of time. It's kind of like meal prepping for your business tasks. Doing all the chopping in one go so that you can enjoy fresh meals throughout the week with minimal fuss. And here's why it works so well. Our brains love efficiency. Every time we switch tasks, it's like our brain has to warm up all over again. And that eats into our valuable time and energy. But when we batch work, we minimize those warm-up periods, keeping our brain in the zone and cruising through tasks with improved focus and energy. Let me give you a personal example. A few days ago, I was writing a short email sequence, 3 emails. Well, the first email took me about 30 minutes to write and schedule. I had to get into the zone. I had to open up platforms, Word and ConvertKit, and figure out the angles that I wanted to take with the emails. So the first email took about 30 minutes. The second email took about 15 minutes. My brain was warmed up. And the third email only took about 5 or 10 minutes. I was in the zone and just flowed from email number 2 to email number 3 seamlessly. Imagine if I had tried to write those emails on 3 consecutive days. I would have had to start over each day and warm up each time. It would have taken a lot longer to get the sequence done. And it isn't just things like email or content creation that benefit from batching. Think about all those administrative tasks like invoicing or bookkeeping or inbox management. Think about consolidating them into a specific time block and freeing up the rest of your week for deep work or client engagement. Batching also allows you to set clear boundaries for different aspects of your business, which is important for work-life balance. When you know that Tuesdays are for client calls and Fridays are for marketing efforts, you can mentally prepare for what's ahead. And it's easier to switch off at the end of the day because you know that you've given that day's focus the attention necessary. So how can you start batching? Begin by identifying the repetitive tasks in your routine. Go back to that time audit we talked about earlier. Then look for tasks that it makes sense to group together, like paying bills and updating your financial software, for example. Those are both money tasks, so it makes sense to do them in one batch. Or make all of your social media graphics for the week in one sitting. You're using the creative side of your brain for that. And I have a blog post all about batching graphics. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes. Then experiment with dedicating specific blocks of time to those tasks. You'll probably need to tweak it a little bit to find the schedule that works best for you. But once you do, you'll wonder how you ever managed without it. And now let's talk about something that might sound a bit corporate, and it is taking me back to my corporate days, but it's also super helpful for solopreneurs. Standard operating procedures, or SOPs for short. Think of SOPs as your business's playbook. They're detailed, step-by-step guides on how to execute key tasks and processes in your business. They help you ensure consistency and efficiency and keep you from making errors. So you may be wondering, do I really need SOPs? And of course, my answer is going to be yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't include it in this episode, right? Whether it's just you running the show or you have a team, SOPs can make a world of difference. They take the guesswork out of your daily operations, and they make sure that every task is performed the same way every time. Without them, you have to remember how to do every little thing. So having them not only saves you from the dreaded human error, but also makes it a breeze to onboard new team members and outsource tasks. Creating SOPs might seem a little intimidating at first, but like everything else we've talked about today, you can start small. Document the process the next time you perform a task, noting each step as you go. You can use tools like Google Docs or Notion or project management software like Asana or Trello to store your documentation. Pick a tool that you already use. It doesn't have to be fancy. And SOPs should be living documents. As your business grows and evolves, your processes will change as well. So regularly review and update your SOPs to ensure that they're always serving your business in the best way possible. So have I sold you on the idea of creating your own SOPs? I hope so. They really will help you work more efficiently and help you build a solid foundation for scaling your business. All right, friends, as we start to wind down today's episode, I want to leave you with some concrete action steps because knowledge may be power, but action is where the magic happens. First off, I want you to think about one area in your business that feels like a constant uphill battle. Maybe it's your inbox that's always overflowing, or maybe it's keeping up with the social media content hamster wheel. Got it in mind? Great. That's where we're going to start. Step 1. I'm challenging you to do a time audit for the week. I know it sounds like a chore, but trust me, it will be eye-opening. Track what you're spending your time on, every single task, no matter how small. You can use a spreadsheet, jot it down on paper, or use time tracking software like Toggle. Step 2. Once you've got a week's worth of data, take a look and see which tasks are eating up most of your time. Then choose just one streamlining strategy to implement based on your audit results. Maybe it's automating your social media posting or batching your content creation. Whatever it is, commit to it. Step 3. Here's where patience comes in. Give it a month. Stick with your chosen strategy, and then at the end of 30 days, reflect on the changes. What worked well? What didn't quite go as planned? And most importantly, what can you improve? This step is crucial because streamlining isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process, and continuous improvement is an important piece. So there you have it. 3 action steps that will help you streamline the tasks in your online business. I can't wait for you to see the incredible things you'll achieve if you take action on what you learned today. That's it for today's episode of the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you're leaving with some valuable insights and, more importantly, actionable steps. Head on over to tanyakendrick.com/11 to view the show notes. You'll find links to all the resources mentioned today. And if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you'd take a moment to leave a rating and review. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe so that you can listen as soon as the next episode is released. Have a great day. And before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit TanyaKendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.